everyone, Ivy Gaming here, and today we're playing Dragonheir Silent Gods. For today's video, we're going to go into Grave of Venom and do an updated guide for Season 1. Today's video is sponsored by Dragonheir Silent Gods, my favorite sponsor because it's my favorite game that I've played in a long time. Be sure to join us for Season 3, Dive Deep, Battle Peak. There's a ton of new heroes, new bosses, and lots to explore. Be sure to download via Android, iOS, Mac, PC, Steam, or Epic Games if you haven't already, and use the currently working promo codes. So the reason I say Season 1 is because the Grave of Venom and all of the other graves and dungeons change with every season, at least at this point. So if you're on Season 1, 2, or 3, which is what's current as of me recording this video in May 2024, all of the seasons have had some sort of mechanic change, at least a little bit, in each of the dungeons, so nothing is exactly the same. But besides that, we also had a lot of changes for Season 1 content overall, which leads us to a need to update our content overall. Although the Grave of Venom, all of the graves themselves have not changed per se, except for the fact that they've added more stages. So that's a really interesting aspect. So now you can gain journey experience by farming the dungeons and be able to get your levels up higher, faster. And the dungeons are different. So now that there's 12 stages, Stage 4 starts your chance to start getting some materials. Simple as that. And it's just flat amounts. It's not, it's flat amounts plus a chance to get the actual gear, right? So 4, 5, 6, and 4, 5, and 6 are epic gear and rare gear only. Stage 7 now starts your chances to get the legendary gear drops, which in Season 1 is this Trolls set that is skill haste and attack, plus the wearer gains healing based on their attack when launching a basic attack. There is the Platinum Knight set, which is when the wearer's ultimate skill is fully recharged, they gain 30% damage bonus for 10 seconds. It's a 30% bonus damage to your ultimate skill, which is huge. That's often the best set for most heroes. And then there's the Gambler set as well, which adds the when they deal damage, they have a 30% chance to deal true damage based on the target's current HP, up to 200% of the wearer's attack. Derivative damage doesn't count. So this is one of those that's better for heroes that have ultimates where they hit a lot of times on their ultimate skill, more than once, you know, quite a few times is ideal for this to have more chances to proc to make it worth it. But overall, the Platinum Knight set's kind of ideal. So that's our legendary gear for Season 1, right? But here, you start getting that at 7, and it does go, of course, all the way to 12. 7, 8, and 9, you get epic gear plus legendary gear chances. Well, at least you get the epic gear plus legendary materials, and then chances for the gear. Once you get to 9, you're guaranteed to get 1 piece of gear with every pull, plus some shards. At 10, you're guaranteed to get 1 piece of gear plus some shards and a chance to get mythic gear. So they actually added mythic gear to Season 1, which was not the case before. And then here, the highest chance of obtaining mythic gear is part of level 12, of course. You can see the little arrows that they increase the chance with every level. The wearer obtains 15 attack additionally for every 1 skill haste they possess. A great set, really great. Energy Harvester is great, especially if you can do something creative, like putting someone in the Hourglass, the legendary artifact, which gives a lot, or the legendary artifact Gatekeeper Staff gives a lot of skill haste as well. So this can really boost someone's damage and allow them to, and try to build them with skill haste to make them go more often. You can have people that use their ultimates like twice in a battle. This one, and Unwinding Flesh, is an arena-only one. So when a hero dies in Grand Gladiator Arena, the wearer can obtain 50% of their attack. Any hero. That means allies or enemies. So that's pretty cool. And then finalities. This one is bad. The wearer deals 35% increased damage and receives 35% increased ultimate up, but they endure a 50% recharging speed penalty. That's not good. Like, you don't want to slow down how often you're using your ultimate. Like, it doesn't make sense. It just, if you want to do more damage on your ultimate, you don't want to slow down how often you're doing your ultimate. The only set this makes sense on is where it was introduced in Season 3, where there is the Shadow class of hero that doesn't use ultimate energy the same as everybody else. They have their own currency, I guess you could call it, for energy. So this could be okay for them, but this is a bad glove. Don't compensate by reducing your energy, unless they're using a hero specifically. Oh no, I say recharging speed is still going to slow down someone's battle skills as well. I don't know. Maybe you could say dauntless heroes that are more about their basic attacks. If it wouldn't kill you to slow down how often their ultimate happens in order to make sure that when they use it, it smashes harder. I don't know. It's a quirky one, but I don't really like it. The best one, of course, is this Precise Carnage Gauntlet. This is the wearer deals 35% increased damage to enemies with defense penalty. So the defense penalty, of course, coming from Crown of Unclean or Witch's Remains. That's an awesome piece that you want on every character that's going into your Vortex runs or your main DPS in any battle. It's just so good as long as you have one of those artifacts to give you a defense penalty in the first place. But yeah, this is weird because as of this moment, Mythic gear is only in Season 1 and Season 3. It's not in Season 2, but that should change hopefully sooner rather than later. So this is just a higher chance and more resources. So let's take a look at this. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of a talk through with the guy, with the boss here. If we go down to a lower stage, actually, let's just see this first. So we should talk about heroes. I want to point out that you can see what other people are doing simply enough by clicking that button. Show only non-legendary lineups as well. Look at this, guys. Look at this. People are doing the highest level, Grave of Venom 12. With, how do people have so many level? Oh my god. How do they have level 100 so much already? You're gonna judge me when you see my account on this server compared. But yeah, look at that. So the Adventurer, Hexandra, Horus, Sigrid, and then Quarion or Megan as more support. I love it. That's really cool. There's some with the Fire Adventurer that are with Megan as well, but this is such a good setup, and I'm actually very close to what I was going to do myself. So I guess we'll have some fun and see what we could push there. But if you're just looking to break into the higher levels of like epic gear at least, it's definitely not going to be that hard. You could see, ironically enough, Garius is part of the lower level teams, but not part of the higher level teams. Horus is in every single one of these lineup suggestions, guys. Every single one. Because Horus is actually one of the best defenders you could use for Grave of Venom, because everyone usually has their tank die very early on, and he has this passive that really helps to keep himself alive. When taking damage, the hero has a 50% chance of obtaining a 10% max HP shield for 5 seconds. This effect can only take effect once every 7 seconds. But that little shield triggering can help keep him alive long enough for your other heroes to do their skills and keep him alive, whether it be a heal, whether it be, I guess, a recovery over time, or a boosted heal here, or recharging someone's ultimate energy to make them go. Or if you're using the Ice Adventurer, she's going to proc shield. And yeah, oh, statue. The statue for the Ice Adventurer is a must. It makes her do so much more damage, or him. But yeah, this is a really fun way to see what people are doing. And you can really see the core of non-legendary teams is Horace, the Adventurer, and Hexandra. And then Sigrid as well, as is in every team. And then Megan and or Quarion or Meredith are good examples of other healers that you can use. If you're looking for attack penalty more reliably, Irina is a really good example as well. She's like the budget version of Iola. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. But then here, there's some legendaries thrown in the mix. You can definitely see, of course, people are going to have legendary teams that can handle it. But it's definitely not needed once you see that this is such a viable option. But it may be at the very least, yeah, you can do so with lesser leveled heroes for some of the more entry stages starting to get legendary gear, which is way back down here, honestly. So that's really nice to see too. I don't have level 100 heroes, so I'm definitely struggling. I don't have anybody 5-star yet, even on my free-to-play account. So that's also why I'm struggling. But that's okay. We're still going to talk about what we need for this boss. So let's go ahead in here to view info. So when you look at the early stages, you can see the recommendations more because they think that this is going to be your first time going into it. So deploy heroes with the following abilities. Attack penalty, which is so true. Attack penalty is huge against this boss. This is all about survivability. This boss is just survive. And then you have one main hero to do the damage, honestly. That's kind of the goal. But if you have like the Ice Adventurer or Traveler, sorry, the Ice Traveler, they do really good damage with being there, as long as you have the statue on them. They're kind of a secondary DPS. Honestly, they surprise you. And Horace actually can pump out some damage himself. But yeah, defense up, damage reduction skills, hit recovery, and debuff immunity or cleansing is also helpful because the little wisps put up attack. Let's see, because they don't show them. No. Oh yeah, they do. Here. These guys put up defense penalties. So you want to avoid that or cleanse that, which is actually why Megan is really good as a healer because she also cleanses defense penalties specifically, which makes her perfect for the Grave of Venom. Also, Megan is perfect for Grave of Venom because you don't even need to level her up. You can stick her back in a corner and she's going to do a ton of support without even needing to be advanced herself. So that's really, really helpful as well. All right, so this one just does damage. This one does debuffs, the little wisps. Oh, what are they called? Wisps? I don't even know. But the boss's skills, Deadly Harpy's attacks have a 30% chance of triggering triggering the assistance of poison will-o-wisps. They always target the same enemy. So the chance to kind of ally attack, if you play raid, you know what I mean. You ally attack at the same time, they have a chance. They are immune to control effects like usual, but you can decrease their, I guess you're going to call it turn meter, decrease their ultimate energy. And you can also use recharging speed penalty as a debuff to kind of control them. All right, and then the first skill does hit in this specific formation, which does mean, yes, you actually want to be careful about how you do your positioning. And I'm going to show you guys a couple positioning tricks in a moment. So there is that. And then there's also the ultimate here, dashes to the current target, performs a triple kick, dealing poison damage, and triggering the flame elements to simultaneously attack. So these wisps, these elements, will attack with the enemy. So you want to kill those wisps as fast as you can so you're taking less damage. You're not taking like all of them to hit one character and take them out at once, right? This is why your tank really needs survivability. So let's just go ahead and... I'm only on stage 6, which I'm fine with. I mean, I want to be on 7, but I need to level up a couple more heroes to do that. And I was just working on Horace. So I'm going to adjust my Horace and talk about that as well. But first we have to talk about something a little bit different. Let me pull it up. Alright, so this is the formation to use if you're going to be doing a team with only 1 melee and 4 ranged heroes. So you're going to have your tank front and center, and then another support hero that can take a little bit of hits, ideally up here at the front. And then you're going to have the other heroes here around. They also can work if they're here or here. I think they might actually move up a spot anyway. But this spot will work as well for the formation. But this is formation again for a team with one melee hero. And yeah, it's probably going to be your tank. And then you're going to have like Megan for support and then more support. So like in this team, I have mostly, I kind of have 2 DPS, you know. Zarloth is semi-support, but not quite. Estella and Megan are pretty great together, honestly. And you gotta remember, these people are not going to get attacked. So if this is a low-level person in the back, you're fine. But let me show you the formation for more melee added. Alright, so let's say I want to bring Tunnelon into the fight as my main DPS, and I can survive with the other support that I have around him. Her. This is what you do. So, you would have your tank be at this spot right here. You would have the other melee unit at this spot right here. And then your 2 other ranged units can go there. And then another ranged unit can go in the back corner. So this is going to allow a little bit of a different setup. So I'm just going to do this real quick. Actually, let me actually put gear on them. And then I'm going to show you guys both formations. Alright, so a team like this, ideally we're going to have one person in Witch's Remains or the Crown of Unclean. I do give Horus this because at least he could get some defense out of it as well. But ideally you want this on someone who's going to do multi-hits. Now in this case, I could debate about letting Tunnelon be that person because she does do multiple hits on her ultimate. So she's a great candidate for Witch's Remains. But first I'm going to try to let her be more of a DPS right now, instead of have to take away from an artifact that does damage. Sigrid I have actually in the Witch's Remains because I did get one on this account already because of getting a duplicate hero. So with that in mind, I have her in that. But the way to make this team be more ideal is going to be timings. So let's just save this as Venom 1 melee. So the skill timings for this is the hard part because the boss is on a quick rotation. So it's not going to be something you can always time, but you can. Or at least, at the very least, let's say if Sigrid has Witch's Remains, although we don't want to slow Sigrid down. If she kills a wisp, I think that counts to speed her up. But let's say Horus has a 20-second rotation and so does Tunnelon if she was booked. We're pretending Tunnelon is booked right now. You could have Horus try to hopefully place the defense penalty before we have Tunnelon pretending she's booked go. That's something you want to make sure you do to make sure the defense penalty is triggered before your people are doing their skills. But it's hard to time everything here. The other thing to think about is if you're using like the Traveler, right? Our Traveler, she's really good for if you have her as ice to support and keep everyone alive. But we're not going to use her right now. We're going to try to use Estella instead. This is not an ideal team. I think it is better with the Traveler as ice, because we would still have a higher synergy for Tunnelon and Sigrid to do the damage thanks to Horus. You want that 3-man synergy at the very least for sake of the bonuses that you're accruing. Also, just a quick note, they do suggest things here. So they're kind of pointing out that my gear might be a little bit low stat-wise to help have success in this battle, because I am using a bunch of rare gear as well. So this, again, melee setup here, you're gonna, let me just run this. It might not actually be successful because everyone's not ideally geared. Also, I think, yeah, the Traveler with the shield set would help keep Horus alive a lot better. But this is the setup. So Horus and Tunnelon are both attacking the main boss. But the wisps are going to be here. This is the problem. So the wisps, you hope that we're going to get a nice AoE smash by Horus to get a... Let's see. It's doing such low damage, it doesn't look like anything's happening. Never mind. But depending on who you have as a DPS, you can ignore the wisps like I'm doing right now. Or you can hopefully have someone that does AoE, like if you use the Fire Traveler. And they can actually allow you to kill the boss a lot faster or kill the wisps a lot faster. then you're not dealing with that defense penalty debuff as well. But honestly, I don't think it's too big of a deal to let the wisps just be there. And as you can see, like my Tunnelon and Horus are doing a good job of keeping up against this boss. Sigrid is going to do her thing and apply attack penalty, hopefully, but she's actually not landing it that much. I actually don't know that I have enough accuracy on my Sigrid right now. So what we're doing this stage, you can check what accuracy you need by just checking the little button here under information. I need 100 accuracy. I don't think I actually had that on everybody, so my Sigrid's not always landing this attack penalty, which is a bummer. But I do have Horus that can land it on his battle skill. But you can see here, like, Estella is never taking a single hit back here in the corner, right? So if you have someone like Megan or Enna, people that can do, or even Quarion, that can do healing based on the your allies' HP, the target's HP, then, if that's the case, then you know that you don't have to really level them up that high like everybody else. So that's kind of fun, honestly. Well, alright, let's go ahead and now show you the team formation with the ranged units. And so not Tunnelon. Again, let me go back to doing this formation here. And then we'll go ahead and we'll bring in, actually we'll do this. And Sigrid can go up here. And then the Fire Traveler can get some work in. Let's go ahead and run this team as well. So very similar team here. Let me do one little batch of stamina and go ahead. So this is going to be the same principle whether you're doing the earliest stages for blue gear, the middle stages for epic gear, or the higher stages for the legendary and mythic gear. No matter what, it's the same principle. So that's why I wanted to take a bit and slowly go through discussing like kind of the strategies for fighting this boss. You definitely can survive better if you bring in some AoE damage to take care of the wisps if you're having trouble keeping your tank alive. But you can see there's a lot of support on my tank right now. Estella and her passive is really good. She's going to keep healing him up. He's going to keep himself alive. Megan is a perfect example of someone who's strong for this as well, again with her passive and the defense penalty cleansing. Plus she boosts one hero and also heals someone with her battle skill on top of her ultimate that does the continuous heal recovery over time buff. But now you can see we have Sigrid and the Adventurer, the Traveler, going strong, right? They're going strong here. Boom, boom, boom. It doesn't look like Horus is at any risk at all. So really it's just a matter of finding out a balance. So maybe I could do the next wave, for example. I don't think so though, because at least until I get my tank 5-star. But I could try to increase my damage here. Like maybe I don't need 2 healers. Maybe I could do it with only 1 healer. Not usually the case. Sometimes it is. At least not without the Adventurer with shields. Usually you want shields plus a healer or 2 healers versus this boss, honestly. But you can try to min-max and increase your time of your runs once you get a solid survivability figured out. But Horus is so good for this, guys. Like, I know that in the very beginning, nobody really liked Horus. He's the free hero. He can't be that good kind of comments, you know. And people just thought he was boring as a tank because there is Garius. There is Furboth. But Garius and Furboth are not going to survive as well as Horus. The, I guess, exception to the rule would be if you have Garius in a Gatekeeper staff, he's going to pump out lots of shields. And you might be okay. Or if you have someone like Mithrasia in your team that has a special passive that allows you to save one ally from dying quickly, she'll keep that tank alive a little bit longer. Or Urion that keeps himself alive through the first almost death. Stuff like that's going to make a really big difference. But yeah, I could farm Grave of Venom 6. That's good enough for me, honestly, getting some gear along the way, epic gear, to start replacing some of my rare gear as well. But that's kind of the gist of our Grave of Venom. So it really just buckles down to fulfilling all the roles, ideally having a tech penalty on the boss. And if you have someone like that can do recharging speed penalty, that can be helpful as well. Timings can be a bit rough, like I said, because of the way they have this. So it's not always something you have to time, but you might want to time your DPS units to go in a logical order, so you're always having your main damage dealer hit after the defense penalty has been placed. But yeah, there you go, guys. This was a long video and a detailed guide. I hope it was helpful, and I will see you in the next video. Be sure to download via Android, iOS, Mac, PC, Steam, or Epic Games if you haven't already. And thanks again to Dragonheir Silent Gods for sponsoring today's video.